Welcome everyone. Today's lesson is about upside down drawing. To join me in this lesson, you'll need something to draw with. You can use a pencil of any kind, a pen, anything that you feel comfortable drawing with. The other thing you're going to need, and this might require a printer or something, or finding an image that works, is you can choose this image I have, or I'll make it available in the video, a link to where you can find it. This is the classic Picasso upside down drawing image. You can basically use any image, or you could even use lettering. I did draw that upside down. So I'm going to create a link for you to print this off so you can join me. The other thing you need, so pencil, a picture that's upside down. And it doesn't have to be linear, but for a beginner project, it is easier to do, I think. And the other thing that helps, you don't have to do this, is to have a paper. Well, you need something to draw with, onto. But the other thing you can do is, what I'm going to do, is I'm going to cover this picture like this. And it's upside down. I'm going to keep it upside down the whole time. And I'm going to draw a little bit at a time and reveal and draw a little bit, reveal and draw a bit until we're finished. So that's what we're going to do. Now, you might be wondering, why are we doing this? Well, let's look at, for a moment, this book called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain by Betty Edwards. There's a lot of neat activities in here that we might explore. Now, when we're accessing the right side of the brain, the idea is that it can evaluate form and things in relation to each other. So part of the problem when we're drawing could be, now you can see this is meant to be upside down. These are meant to be upside down, all of these. Now you might be wondering why it's upside down and why that's going to help you in drawing and accessing the right side of your brain and why that's helpful. So when we see, and this kind of talks about when we're looking at something and we recognize it, it can affect how we can draw it, to perceive it, because it's something we recognize. And when we turn it upside down, suddenly we don't recognize that thing, and instead we kind of recognize forms rather than, oh, that's so-and-so. And then when you think of, oh, who that is, like, have you guessed who this is? You might have read it already. It's Albert Einstein. He's an iconic figure, and upside down, you might have been lost. Also, you know, his hair is also not showing, which I think might have changed the outcome as that as well. But when I look at this or this, I do struggle to see right away what it is, and I find myself trying to kind of figure it out, like look for what is it. Instead, just see it in the forms, the values, the shapes. And when we have something, put it upside down, it becomes unfamiliar, and that forces us to access the right side of the brain, which then can help us evaluate what is actually there rather than, you know, what we think is there. So often when we're drawing, we kind of, oh, that's a nose. And so automatically, what does your mind tell you a nose looks like? We often draw things such as like a tree or a flower, all very similar. You know, how many trees like this have I drawn or seen in my day? Maybe there's like a branch sticking up or out. But if you look at a tree, does it really look like that? No, but what we see as familiar to us, we kind of create these generalizations of what they look like. And in our drawing, in our art, if we draw like this, we're creating a fictional thing. And so what we want to do, the key is to access the right side of the brain so we can look at what is really showing there. So if you've printed this off now, you can follow along. Now, it does say to give yourself 30 to 40 minutes uninterrupted time. That could be difficult for some of you, even myself. my distraction level can be high. So I'm not going to do the whole exercise on this video, but I just wanted to get this conversation started and get this, show you kind of what the activity does. A little more explanation than demonstration for today's activity, because you watching me draw this isn't going to be super helpful for you. The other thing is you can draw this just like this. You don't have to cover parts of it and draw like that. You can keep it upside down to maintain that unfamiliarity when you're looking at the shapes. Now, you're probably going to come to a shape, and when you have it upside down, it's a lot easier to recognize, oh, well, I know that's an eye. So what you need to try to do is maybe cover up a part, or in your mind kind of separate that notion to kind of just draw what you normally would draw an eye like, and just see it as a line and a shape, rather than, oh, I'm looking at an eye, and so now I'm going to draw an eye or a head or hands. Because as soon as you enter that mode, you're going to fall back into this, you know, regular perception of what something is. So I don't know if I should do the covered up version or without. I feel like maybe I'll just show a little bit of the without, and, or yeah, sure, let's do that. Although my mind, I feel when I look at this, is kind of goes all over the place, so maybe it'd be better. You can choose. You can decide. If you're indecisive like me, then you might not know what to start with. Okay, and I don't know if I'm showing the top part here. I can't fully see what my camera sees here. Okay, so it is good to have the same size paper as what you're copying from, because we're looking at shape and that type of thing. If you're drawing a little one like that, you're going to have a harder time with this exercise, I think. Okay, so I'm going to try and be a little more quiet now as I create this. I don't have to use an eraser for this, but I've already come across an issue that I need to figure out. Because I didn't make that first line long enough. I wasn't going off of anything else. I kind of just went, oh, it's like that long. And so that's where you can run into trouble. So look at where things begin and where they end. So when I'm looking at this line I've made, okay, well, I see this kind of almost rectangle shape, and then, oh, there's this thing coming into it. Well, how close is it coming right here? So these are the kind of thoughts that I'm having right now. I'm not thinking about lunch or, oh, now I am, or anything like that, whatever your to-do list. Try and get your mind away. And also I'm looking at the angles. So we did a perspective lesson that might help us think about the angles and things in relation to each other. That was a hairy line. I call them hairy lines when they're, I often like to draw like a hairy line, because it kind of if you draw multiple lines, you can kind of gets you into the right zone. I don't like to just draw a single line like we're doing here. And you won't be talking on your video. I mean, you won't be creating a video, you won't be talking like I am, so hopefully you'll be uninterrupted. Take this moment as a little meditation exercise of sorts. I guess you could make a video too if you want. I'd love to see, if you do try this exercise, how yours turns out. So yeah, just continue the exercise until you've completed the whole picture. So I find this area isn't as difficult as, say, if we were to get into the hands. I would have a hard time with that and the head because these are such recognizable features and things. So it might be best to do the covered image slowly coming up so that you're just looking at that form. Looks like those upside down chin fun things that we used to do as a family. You cover up the nose and the the other parts of the face and just draw a face on the chin. Okay, sorry, sidetrack. So complete the activity. Try another image. You don't even have to use this image, but it is a good starting point with some of the angles and lines in it. And but you're welcome to use any image you have. I would suggest trying with black and white if you're using black and white. Go ahead and we're not focusing on color in this exercise, and color might throw you off as well in terms of recognizing what that is. Okay, so I look forward to seeing your guys' images, and if there's any particular type of lesson you want to learn in terms of drawing or other art, or see how a material is used, please let me know. I look forward to creating a new video for you next time, and hope you learned something new about accessing the right side of your brain. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.